Hi, my name's Naomi and I'll be talking a little bit about my experience camping on the Great Wall of China. I'm going to be giving a little bit more context into my other video, which is mainly raw footage. So firstly, I think that coming from Australia and being socialised in Australia, or rather not being of Chinese origin or descent, has definitely impacted how I experienced the Great Wall. I think another big influence was how we interacted with the wall. So we didn't really get an organised tour and we camped it, so I didn't have much background information or history go into the experience. And I think how that affected it was that I felt a lot more in the moment in time and I wasn't shrouded or influenced by other knowledge. So what we felt was just like a raw emotion. So I'm just going to talk about a bit pre-wall, what it was like when we were there, and a bit like what I've learned since coming out of the experience. So basically really before I left, I didn't know much about the wall. It was something we talked about a bit in school. You saw it in a few ads and it just was something I didn't really ever think I would go to, so it was more distant and sort of surreal, so to speak. Yeah, and it didn't really hit me at all that I was going to this wonder of the world, even really on my flight to China. And being there, honestly, it was the most humbling experience. I think you can see in the video that we made a huge effort to get there, so we had 2 trains and then 3 buses, and then we had to hitchhike, so it was the whole adventure and the experience of actually getting there. It was just you just got there and there was this landmark and it just rolled lazily over the hills, and it was so rural China, and we just come from bustling Beijing, and then we had to go up this hill and then through this ladder into the watchtower, and we're just exhausted. And then we got there and it was oh my god, we're finally here. Everyone was grinning ear to ear, and we were taking photos and skateboarding and eating dumplings, and it was just this whole experience. And then it hit dark and we were all whispering and trying to be really quiet, and just talking about our different lives under this blanket of stars. And it was just crazy that these 4 lives diverged to bring us to this amazing landmark, and we just shared that together. And then the night sleep, it was freezing. We had nothing under our backs, so it was the cold stone under our backs. I think I got 3 hours of sleep, but we woke up and the fog was sitting around us, and it was so mystical. And I just felt we were away from the rest of the world. And there was this moment we're sitting on the stairs, and then Nikita, the Russian guy, had Google translated on his phone from Russian. It just said it's worth living for such cool moments, and that just summed it up. That just summed up the whole experience. It was the most raw, authentic experience for me, one of the that I've ever had almost. It was just genuine connection, happiness. And it was just this moment that I came home and I just oh my god, I lived that. And I think we went as well without knowing too much of the history, and I view the wall or the experience a bit differently now that I've come out of it and learned that. So I discovered a lot about the history the wall holds, of the different dynasties and threats of invasion, the importance of the wall. It's mentioned in the Chinese national anthem, folk tales, poems, paintings. And then I think the juxtaposition of it is that it's both unity and strength from within China to withstand various attempts of invasion, but then also a separation from the rest of the world, and this determination to not be infiltrated by other cultures. I think not being Chinese, I never felt that connection to the wall, and I did experience it as an outsider, so I didn't feel the struggle of what the wall really represented, or the deep roots running through it, connecting the present and the past. I think the most undeniable thing is that now people flock from all walks of life and every part of the world to this landmark. And I think it was once assured to keep people apart, and now loosely in the terms, it's bringing us together. And I think the present day value of the wall mirrors its own history. Just finishing up really, Sam, the French guy, he wrote in my journal that the wall was created to separate people and to cast them apart and divide them, and it didn't do that at all for us. It brought us together in this crazy adventure, an Australian, French, Russian, Taiwanese, and there's just 4 of us, and our lives crossed for this brief moment, and it was this serene, sleepless night and this peaceful morning, and then we all parted ways again, and we just continued on whatever journeys we were on, and now our history, it just stands there with the wall too. So that's just how I experienced the wall.